way. All right, let me grab the link. I gotta make sure this is working. All right, let me go paste this in Discord real quick. Guess I can't do that here. There we go, right here. Yeah, sorry about that here. What's up, Swampy? How are you doing? So, what's up, Alpha? Have you guys had a chance to try the open source OpenAI models yet? Yo, Chris, Crouch Guy, welcome. Yeah, Swampy, I think I'm on the same page with you, but I wanted to get everyone else's opinion on it. I'm kind of, I would say, disappointed with the coding ability, but I will say this GPT OSS 20B model is interesting, being able to run this locally. I hope this doesn't kill the stream. If it does, I'll have to stop the model, but we're going to try loading it into my GPU. I was able to get full context on it. Let's go 90. I'm going to keep flash attention off. And just to watch something here, let's see what we're using for GPU memory. 5.7 currently. So let's see if we can load it without killing the stream. If the stream starts stuttering, let me know. It just has some weird stuff sometime. Yeah, I love LM Studio. I know it's not open source, but it's killer. All right, it loaded. Swampy, are you using Quinn 3 Coder? Or what's your go-to right now if you're not using Claude? All right, I have a bunch of prompts here. Quinn and Kimmy? Yeah, I'm liking Quinn better because of the context limit. Yo, Zach, hey. All right, so this is, I've tested both of them currently. This is the 20B model. I've loaded it into memory on my RTX 5090. I am thinking I'm going to get worse performance because I'm streaming. I'm worried about it actually killing the stream a little bit. Yeah, we could do some Opus 4.1. Let's do that too. I'm all for that. We do a little bit of all of it. But let's take a look at this real quick here. So the reasoning level here is medium. The one thing that's interesting to me is I don't think for in general, I don't think these models are really for us for a coding perspective. Evals did not score that well when I ran them through. And in fact, it was actually hard to even get it to complete, even the 120 billion parameter one. Oh, you think it's one temperature? I see. I've been testing all these different temperatures to try to figure it out. The reasoning is bizarre to me. Low reasoning effort is like really short. Medium, you could spend a couple minutes doing it, and then high is just freaking everything. Like it'll take like 5 minutes for a simple question. Let's load up some Claude AI. We can also do stuff in the API as well there too. Opus 4.1. See, I was trying to find OpenAI's recommendation. I didn't see that. All right, let's load up a project file while this is running and do some Claude testing as well. Let me see here. Let's just do this. Opus 4.1. All right, I have a bunch of tests I can toss at it to see kind of how it does. So, what are you guys thinking? Should we do it in root code? I'm definitely going to have to try temp 1, because everything that I've been running so far is between like 0.6 and 0.8. So I need to rerun them at 1. Man, they should be required to put it on the model card. Yeah, it's definitely running slower. When I'm not streaming, I was getting about 170 tokens per second. Like, it was pretty killer, to be honest, with this model. Here I'm at 71.7, so it definitely slows it down a bunch. I cannot run the 120B one at all. That's too much for my computer. Even with the 5090, you need like what is that 80 gigabyte card that they have out now that costs like $10,000 to actually run it. Anthropic. All right, so let's switch to. Let's hope Opus. Druko got an update with it? Yeah. Grab their latest one. Yeah, it's amazing. Let's take a look at mine. Mine is 12.11, but when I load it into RAM, it's basically maxing it out. But I do have the context kind of cranked pretty high currently at 90K. But I was able to actually get it higher. I was actually running a full 131K there for a while. So the quant stuff is weird. Let me show you what they're doing. I need to dig into this to understand what's going on here. But I think I think we only get one option. I think they're all like, if you read the documentation, I saw that they're all 4, like quant 4. Which I don't quite understand that. If anyone knows, let me know. But like all of them only have one option for the different. See, look at this MX FP4. It's probably hard to see on the stream, but this is to my understanding, that's Quant 4, which is why it's 12.11. And then I was like, okay, maybe the Unsloth ones, because I usually get those. So Unsloth right here. When I checked before. So he's got an F16 one, but it's only 13.79 gigabytes. I'm not sure if that's accurate. And let's check out the 120 gig one, 65. Still says F16. Bertowski's another one. So this one actually says the MX FP4 and has a 1211. Wait, he's got different quants here. But look at it, it stops size-wise at 12.11. I don't think it's going much higher than that. Yeah, Swampy, I'm pretty sure Horizon Beta is GPT-5 O mini or something like that. All right, let's do something crazy with, hopefully Opus 4.1's in here. Claude, it's not Claude Opus, that's 5. Do they not have it in Drew Code yet? What? All right, let me see if it's on OpenRouter. I have an OpenRouter. Just put it on. Just put it on Opus. There it is. We'll do this one. I wonder what reason and effort we should do. Let's start with low and see how that works. Turn off custom temperature. Use default. Seems good. All right, let's take one of the more challenging things that I do. Find it. I always love this one. I'm going to tell it in a folder called Opus WebOS. Create the following. I'm curious how slow this is going to be. Where did I click? There we go. All right. It's going to be painful. All right, so that ran, and then while that's running a little bit, we'll just check that out. But over here, our local traffic city program finished. Now, I'm not running it at 1.0, so we need to keep that in mind. I'm not doing any sort of like flash attention or any K-cache quantization here. I will tweak the settings here and we'll try another one. But I do want to see what this actually looks like. So I have over here, let's put that right here. 398 lines of code. There. That is god awful. Let's see what it does though before I say that. That's unbelievably bad. We might have to try it again. This is the 20 billion parameter one though. I don't know if that's actually really bad. I've seen like Quinn 3 Coder do a better job than that. We'll go high reasoning effort, crank the temperature to 1. Let that run. All right, let's go check on Claude now. It's cranking. It's only done the CSS. Oh, we got the index.html file. Holy God, look at the scripts that it's going to create here. That's super cool. I actually now want to run this through my eval to see how that thing... It's just painful to run it through my evals because it's so expensive. But I really should do it. Maybe every couple months I'll do it instead of every month. Now that 4.1, it makes sense to do it again. Yeah, I agree, Barnett. The Horizon is definitely not the open source model. It's got to be... Someone mentioned the Grok code model. I think that's an interesting theory, but I wonder about like why it tells us it's OpenAI model. So if it could be a trick they're playing, but I mean, I think the most logical explanation is a GPT-5o mini is what I'm thinking. Oh, Andy, are you... So here, while this is running, let me talk to you about the settings, because I... Look at what you're thinking it's doing. So one of the problems I have is I'm also streaming, so our GPU is going to be, like, topped here. But, so you're turning flash attention on. Are you also quantizing the K-cache and V-cache? This is something I play around with having it on and off on, too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Barnett. Because I actually, when I was testing, what was it, DeepSeek V3 back in the day, it used to tell me that it was OpenAI as well, and I thought that was kind of odd. Yeah, I'm super excited about this 20 billion parameter model, honestly. Oh, I didn't actually mean to change configs. Whoops. Meta. Interesting. That could be true. Yeah, Paul, like it'd be so funny if that ends up being a Grok model that they've got telling you it's OpenAI. I would laugh so hard. All right, let's see what kind of damages we're doing over here with Opus. $2.32 so far. And crushing along. I'm going to go look at the speeds we're getting over here on OpenRouter currently. So, Opus 4.1. Oh, it's slow. 45, 36, 36. That's going to take a bit. So here, locally, yeah, I was getting about this speed, like 150 to 200 FPS, or FPS, thinking about games. TPS, uh, locally with the 20 billion. Oh, this is the 121 though. So I did run some tests with the 120 billion one. Let me show you a couple things while we're waiting for stuff to run here. All right, this one. Okay, so this one was a 120 billion parameter model one. I did it in root code. Um, Physics are pretty crap. Honestly, Claude models do this a lot too, so I can't hold that much against it, but it is pretty bad. I started playing with the temperature a little bit to see if it mattered. And then eventually I got this one. But the physics are better, but the balls never stop. It's like infinite ping ponging. Here. So this is where like it's hard to kind of nail down a temperature when one of them is like the other one, and now the physics kind of work, but it never stops here. And then I did another one where I thought this one looked better. There's a... Shoot, I didn't actually mean to do that. Let me restart it. But the physics, again, are kind of garbage. Yeah, that is exactly right. Yeah, no kidding. Space in the prompt. It the physics kind of work if you just hit one ball, kind of. Let's see, watch. Not really, actually. Maybe that was the other one. It just kind of nudges it out of the way. Oh, they moved there. It's so funny. So when I started using it, honestly, I didn't know. So I ran through... I actually just show you guys some inside baseball here. Let me pull up, see if I can pull it up. Because... All right, this is part of the calculation here. This is a little bit blind. This isn't a full like runs. This is partial runs. So just take this for like a grain of salt right now. I haven't finalized them. But in root code at temperature 06, I got with the OSS 120, it got 13,000, and I was able to get one run at the 07 temperature to get 17,000. But then I went to 08 in root code and it dropped to 9,000. So it's like a really... So I was kind of landing on, is it between... And again, I need to rerun this one because this could just be an outlier. But it is a really big drop there. And if I went to 0 temperature, root code couldn't run it. 03, it couldn't run it. Open code, I couldn't get any temperature run it. So even the 08, 07, I couldn't get it to finish at all for the 120 model. So that's why I've been kind of asking people what temperature they run. It sounds like 1 is the recommended, because I don't feel like I've got it tuned in enough to like fully run evals on it. Yeah, Val Kimmer, I like that name. I was actually talking to a few people, was it last week? And there's a couple companies in the US that are trying to train models along the lines of like Qwen 3 Coder. And the benefit is, for those of you that are in like large companies in the US or whatever, you probably know this, but there's a lot of companies. The one I used to work at, in fact, would never run a Chinese model, even if it was hosted in the US. They're just like, it's a fintech company. They're super worried about all that stuff. Whether you agree or disagree, that's just the state of the way those companies operate. So I do think there's a big like gaping hole for these companies to come in and train a model that's as good as like Qwen 3 Coder, that's built in the US, and I think those are going to do incredibly well with US companies, even if it's slightly worse than the Chinese models. Spider Nerd, I could see that. I could see universities being worried about that too. You know, as an individual, like I have a small company of 5 people. I'm not that worried about it. I feel like there's the code we're building. Honestly, there's some stuff that's pretty cool about it, but I'm sure it's been done a million times before. I don't worry too much about it. I just try to make sure no one's putting like API keys and stuff in the AI, because you don't know what kind of stuff's being tracked. And a year from now, I may come back and say I totally regret doing that, just to be totally honest. But right now, I'm not too worried about it personally. But companies very much are. Yeah, SMC. So mixture of expert models are interesting. I can actually show you this in LM Studio, because this is sweet, actually. All right, so this is I don't think it's exactly 20 billion parameters. I got to go look at the model card. I think it's like slightly less, like, I don't know, what was it, like 18 billion parameters, or 18 and some odd number, 17, regardless. What there is maybe the easiest way to explain this is kind of like sub models inside of it. And when a question comes in, a portion of the model activates rather than the entire model. So like in Kimi K2's example, for example, the reason that is so slow is it's 1 trillion parameters. I almost said 1 trillion billion, but no, 1 trillion parameters. And because of that, let's see. So let me draw a circle here. Because of that, everything has to be activated. And all the layers have to go through. So there's I don't know how many of you have actually built like neural networks, but there's really like a couple things around it. It's really the number of parameters and the number of layers. And typically the number of layers, the higher number of layers, the more complexity that you're going to end up having. I've only built really simple ones, but so Kimi K2s, all 1 trillion are going to activate. And these small ones, you can kind of think about them having like little mini experts inside of here. It's a little bit more nuanced than that if you actually look at it, but you can kind of get the picture. And then let's say you've got it set to 5, like these 5 will activate. So rather than activating all of the parameters, you actually can save a lot of compute, a lot of processing time. And that's why, let me go look here. This is a bad example. When I'm not streaming, I can get about 170 tokens per second, because this model's only running a small amount of it actually in my memory. I agree, DM20. That MOE, when it first was announced, I actually didn't quite understand how it works. And then I started digging into it, and it kind of blows my mind how cool it is. And I still don't, what I don't understand, if I was 19 years old again, and my life was, and I was just starting down my journey of programming, what I would be doing right now is freaking learning everything I could, and I still try to do this now, even at my age. I'd be trying to learn everything I can about AI because it's just so freaking fascinating. The the big question I have that I can't answer is what makes the decision to activate what experts that are in there. And and I was reading some papers on this. At one time it might be these four. Another time it might be a completely other four. So we could have like guys down here, and it's just a really cool technology, honestly. I don't know, Chris. I haven't quite wrapped my head around that. That's just a gap in my knowledge. Zach, I appreciate that. I'm probably older than I look. But yeah, this stuff is just freaking awesome to me. Unbelievable. But hopefully that kind of gives you at least a high level understanding of that. Uh, let's see where Claude is on running its thing now. Still cranking away. We're up to $13. Let me go see. This is going to be probably the coolest thing. I'm going to add some credits here to OpenRouter so I don't run out. Okay. Should be good now for the night. Vincata, yeah, I mean, 33 is still pretty young. I don't know how old you think I am, but I'm 42. As terrible as that is. But honestly, I don't feel 42, man. I freaking love coding. I love all this stuff so much. Yeah, it's such a cool time to be a coder. There we go, investors having 40 club. Chris, I did not look at the Unsloth page. Let me see if I can find that. And actually, if you guys are interested, you don't have to do this. But if you want me to run any particular test on these OpenAI models, I'm happy to do that either locally or via the API. I'm going to toss in like just a very simple form document. Hopefully that works. Let me click on it to see how that works. Yeah, that should let you, again, don't feel like you, dude, I hear that all the time, that I look 30s in my 30s, which I hope keeps up for a much longer time, to be honest with you. Yep, local ones are DevStrill being the only exception, honestly. Quinn 3 Coder, I'm in the middle of actually testing Quinn 3 Coder, but we keep getting all this news up about everything. All right, so let me go look at Unsloth GPT OSS models. See if I can find their model card. Couple things here. All right. Here, I'll just pull over the one tab so I don't lose my chat. Look at this. Yeah, somebody was saying this a minute ago in chat. They recommend 06. And from what I was finding, this is, again, a rough test. I was finding like somewhere in the 06 to 07 range seemed to be like the spot I would need to zone in for testing. Top P1. Okay, I'm at 0.8 on my current one. It's pretty amazing. Even though we're not happy with these models from a coding perspective, it is pretty amazing to get stuff like this. Dude, I appreciate that. You make my day by telling me I look like I'm. So let me ask you this. I have 3 kids. My oldest, I got married young. My oldest is 21, which is crazy. Dude, honestly, if it was me and I could go back in time and I was 19, 20 again, I would be doing everything in my power. And I'm doing it now, but I'm doing it in a different way because I've been through college, done all that already. But I'd be doing everything in my power to learn everything I could about the inner workings of AI, how to actually make it, how to use it properly, and try to find my sweet spot in that career path. It just seems like such a cool place to be. David, you got me. Oh, my youngest is 12. It's a pretty similar age there. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely, the what old is pushes out over time. When I was 20, I felt like people that were in their 30s were old. And now when I'm in my 40s, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be old until I'm 60. 60 is going to be old for me now. Janssen, that's awesome, man. Good luck with your startup. I think I may have grabbed that update. Let me just double check on LM Studio. Nope, you are correct. I missed it. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and relaunch that guy. Well, we're up to $21. I wonder how far along we are here. Where's the to-do list? Okay. Well, hopefully it's done more than 0 items. Yeah, so if you're joining us, I appreciate it. I just wanted to hang out a little bit. We're testing out Opus 4.1. You know how it goes. It's an awesome coding model, but it's kind of slow. We also are testing out the new open source models from OpenAI. Apparently, I have too many models. It's taking a while to index. And then I do have API access via OpenRouter for the 120 billion one. I can't run that one locally. All right, let's reload this. Let's put flash attention on. Let's set the context limit. I'm not going to go so high because I don't have... Make sure all my layers are there. If you guys are ever configuring this, one thing to watch out for these models it's fine, but if you start getting on the brink of things, you'll see this set to like 22 or something like that, and you'll be like, why the crap is it running so slow? It's because some of it's running on your CPU. So always max that out if you can. Flash attention, we won't quantize Kcache and Vcache. So this is something, if you're not familiar with what these actually are, these are massive numbers, like literally absolutely gigantic. So if you quantize these, it drops the memory usage a ton. So I'm not going to do that right now, but that's what I do a lot when I'm trying to get like dev scroll up to full capacity. Flash attention, and then I'll quantize these down to Q8. And I don't see much like degradation of quality there. All right, so let's go ahead and load that, and then let's see what kind of RAM we use at that. Yeah, Claude Code is freaking awesome, even though it does have its quirks. Oh, Rendezvous. How fast is it running on Mac Studio? I should have done that, Spider Nerd. I'm going to be honest with you. I should have set up Orchestrator and Code and Architect and all that. Honestly, it's my habit. Because a lot of times when I'm testing things, especially evals, I do it in code mode just to try to be the most fair. Cool. I'm curious to see what you're getting for tokens per second. All right, so this loaded up. Okay, we're only using 16.8 gigabytes. So we could go a lot more in context window here. And then if we make a new, let me go over to, let's just grab something cool. We got that at 1. Another thing in LM Studio to really do is like make these presets. They're so handy. I need to find something that's simple enough that I can do. This one might be easy enough. I'm gonna do medium effort. I'm really curious what speed I get here. That already seems faster now. Spike the CPU a little bit. Hopefully, I think it's all good. 39 per second. That's pretty dang good. Yeah, this is just, look how fast this is. If I have it configured right, like it's pretty dang sweet. Dude, Opus is so slow. What do you think we're gonna hit? We're gonna hit like $100 for this thing, probably. It's gonna be painful. That's the problem with doing evals on it. All right, so here, let's do. Put this in here. I want to see if this actually runs. Then we'll look at the speed of it. All right, this is what it did. For supposed to be. Oh, that's not bad. I should be able to do different things. Gradient stroke. So the geometric shape should be more random. Huh. I mean, not actually too bad. I've definitely seen, it's not great at UI, it's not creative, but it's not bad. All right, speed-wise, let's see what we got. I missed that before. Yeah, see 171 tokens per second. 13.13 to first token's pretty sweet. Dude, that's really nice of you, Rendezvous. I might hit you up on that later. Oh, you got it running on an 8 gigabyte graphics card? That's amazing. Vincent, what presets are you interested in? I'm curious on how I could, what I could drop to be, that would be useful. Alex, I'm glad that it's not just me going crazy. Horizon Beta is the first model ever that I've been asked that many questions with. It's insane. So Aaron, are you talking about the open source models at all? Here, let's here I have another folder. I open this one. So here I wanted to actually, let me make a new configuration here. I want to make one, I'm going to call this one Open Router OSS 120. Create profile. Okay, we're going to have that there. I swear I read that it supports images on OpenAI site, but it doesn't appear to in root code. Anyway, custom temperature. We know 1 might be the sweet spot now. No rate limit. I don't know about provider. I was using Grok before. We could try. Let me take a look at the other providers that are out there. All right, so we got 120B. I feel like they're all probably quantized the same. Look at Grok, 1,000. I also have learned this week that the way they calculate token per second is not how you would think, which is good for us to know. But we could try. So this one says FP4. We could try Cerebrus and just see what happens. That's a really cheap price. Yeah, we'll stick it on Cerebrus. And let's grab a really cool, somewhat complicated thing. Just so you guys can see it, like tool calling or prompt-based tool calling. Here, we can check back on this one. See what you guys are saying. Okay, so our boss for front end right now, honestly, Horizon Beta has been one of my go-to. It's not my favorite coding model though. I think Rue just crashed. It's not my favorite coding model, so I actually kind of use it in combination with Claude Code to like fix bugs and stuff like that. But it is freaking good at the front end. I'm not sure why that crashed. Let's try it again. At front end, it's really good. Actually, let me see if I still have some of those tests that I did before. Let's see if I can find them. I can show you some of the stuff side by side if I still have saved it. Where did I put Horizon? I think I may have put that in. Horizon Alpha. Let's see if this is the one. No, that's not it. Dang it. We can run some more. I can't figure out where I put it. My folders have gotten just out of it. Gotten insane. It's definitely here somewhere. I've been trying to organize them by months now and like nuking the months. So like I was even testing the Windsurf Pokemon models today. So I was throwing stuff in there that I did for them. So I did a bunch of random thing. I can show you guys those too if you're interested. But Horizon, oh here it is, Horizon Beta. I just blind apparently. So this is Claude's and then this one. This one's sweet. So this is basically me saying, hey, make a killer profile or portfolio page for me. There are issues with it. You can look here on the left. It's kind of like not enough margin there. I don't like that. But it's really like just got a lot of nice style to it in my mind. Like, and then let me show you that same prompt in Claude. This is Sonnet. Not bad, but just not my style. I actually really do like this. It's probably hard to see on the video, but like these little geometric shapes and things. Like this looks good. But I really did just like the style of this. I don't know if you can tell, but like when I move the mouse, you can kind of see the particles in the background effect, like it be affected by that. I can't say my words. I don't know if that's by design or if that's just an illusion. Yes, Third Law Studio. That is exactly what I do. Is I do basically if I have uncommitted files, I will actually tell Claude Code to look at my uncommitted files and do a code review of it. Or if there's an error, I'll have it help me fix it. But I use a lot. I've been using Horizon Beta for a lot of styling, and I'll show you. Like this is my main app that I'm working on, and like this isn't going to be pretty, but I had again. I'm still working through this, so this isn't great. But I had Horizon Beta go through and do a bunch of this for me today, and I thought it did a pretty good job overall. So like all of this stuff again, I got to clean it up and make it a little bit nicer, but like I haven't pushed this to prod yet. But I thought it did a really good job for like what it needs to do here. Like it paginates really well. It's got nice filtering. It actually built this searching thing for me, which I thought was really cool. So you can do like size greater than let's say 1200, and it searches correctly. So it just did a really good job at this. And it also built this little guy for me, which I'm still working on setting up. But I thought this was kind of a neat little idea for like people that want help, we could actually put in like some videos and things in there and whatnot. But what's up, Nicholas? So Nicholas, we do a lot of interesting things with models. So, everybody's recording meetings now, all of that stuff. We actually take the meeting notes and we sync it to Google Drive, which then syncs to our local computer. Then we use Claude Code to analyze the meeting notes so that we can kind of understand. 'Cause, you talk to customers, they're unhappy about something, they bring up ideas, whatever. And we use that to kind of like build what it thinks the action plan is for the things that we should be focused on. And we kind of compare it to what we think as well. And it's very helpful, actually. All right, so our autonomous drone is done. Not sure if this is going to work. It's not going to work. I might have to actually run it in a server. So I'm going to give it all the error. It's definitely finding it made up URLs for the CDNs, unfortunately. I have not been playing around with voice agent building yet. All right, let's see if Claude is anywhere near. Yes, okay. I'm excited about this. So we spent $45.52 on this. Opus 4, Opus 4.1 test on WebOS. There's a lot of code here. If this thing doesn't run, I'm going to be very sad. Gonna have to. Okay, so we got Opus Web US OS. Please load something. I'm starting to get skeptical it's going to load something. We're going to pay $45 for this. Starting desktop environment. Come on. I can't right click to go to developer tools. That's why I'm doing this, if you're wondering. Oh, okay. We're going to tell it to fix it. $5 more. Console error it is. So actually we got 2 errors. I should have gave it the other one too. Let me see what this is. All right, so this one. Now load 3JS orbit controls. Let's see if this fixed it. No. This has kind of been my experience with the 120 billion parameter model, honestly. And it maybe is something that could be improved with giving it web search or whatnot, but it seems to fail. Like I have a hard time getting anything to work, even like simple prompts in one go, which is okay, but it's kind of annoying because the AI's just gotten so good at that lately. Chris, I actually have given them access to LSPs. It makes a big difference, honestly. Yeah, $45 is insane for that, for what we just made there. This is why, like, Opus is just so hard for me to want to run evals on. Oh, sweet. Okay, we got some stuff. I'm going to refresh this. All right, I'm going to just close this. So I do have persist on, so some of this could be old. Let me refresh again. How is it working without my main.js file being loaded here? Huh. Let's see what's broken. I do not want notifications. I can't drag anything. It's actually not that great. The icons look good. It looks pretty. I mean, this all looks great. But it's not that great. I've definitely seen... So I would say this is probably the most. I don't even know how to word it. It's probably the most. It's got the most icons, but it doesn't even have like drag functionality. We do have maximize. Do we have minimize working? Kind of. Yeah, that works. Let's see what web browser does. Let's go to google.com. No, okay, that's all fake. This is what $45 buys you. $48 now. Oh, let's see if this works. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that is awful. Back to dark. Wait, why are you not changing? Here we go. Okay, I do. I mean, honestly, you could take this and tune this to something. There's a few things that, like, I love the icons. Like, all of this is functioning well. It's really just missing a few things, like the dragging. I wanted to be able to. The calculator is kind of odd. It just resized everything bad. Let's see if it can't. I think this might be like. This is probably the equal button. I don't know what I did there. That's kind of cool. This filters down. Still not worked on the OSS side. I'm really skeptical we're going to get that working, unfortunately. I might have to try something simpler for the OpenAI model. Oh, this is actually good. I can just start a server. That is not the problem. I'm trying to remember the command. What is it? npx. Is it npx? Let's see if that's the right one. Yeah, let's see if that works. Still not. Like an idiot, I started it in the wrong directory. Sure. Well, we have an HTML page. It is a 3D autonomous drone. It is loading in a main.js file. And that is it. Which I don't even know if that file is actually being loaded. Yeah. That's brutal. Yeah, man. See, 15 years ago for assembly. Let me think about that. Um, it's probably been that for me too. Because I was mainly a C++ programmer from 2005 to 2012. And I used to write a lot of assembly off and on during that time. Primarily on the PlayStation 3. Because they had some special processors called SPUs that you had to write things in assembly on. And I also would rewrite parts of the engine that we were using at the time in assembly. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I still mess with C++ once in a while, but I am so. You go back to 2012, I was a killer C++ programmer. Like there were the engine that we worked for. I used to go around and help different game companies learn how to actually use it. Like they would actually hire me to come out and help them. I was awesome at it. I would suck right now, to be honest. I am not. I'm so far disconnected from it since then. It's kind of unfortunate. I am appreciative I started with C++. That's cool, Zach. There are days that I miss doing that type of stuff. A lot, actually. All right, so let's see if you guys have ideas for prompts. All right, here's someone's prompt that they want us to do. All right, we got this. If you guys are interested in submitting some, let me see if I can get you the link again. Just put it back in the chat. All right, here's the prompt that we're going to do. And we're going to send, let me copy that link again. I'm getting a kick out of this. It's awesome. So what model did they want? They want the 20 billion parameter model. And we're going to do it here. We'll just do it right here locally. New chat. And we're going to put reasoning effort high like they requested. I'm super curious about this. Dude, David, that's awesome. I actually did play Star Wars: The Old Republic. That is super cool. You guys might be able to remember. Do you remember back in the day the torque engine? Hero engine. That sounds so familiar. Man, the torque engine was a nightmare back in the day. But it was like for those of you that don't know, it was like the pre-Unity. It was what people used back then. And we were one of the first studios to actually take it and use it on the Xbox 360. I learned so much on that. Well, this is interesting. It thought and then it gave up. All right, I got to see what it did here. So first off, it generated 2,320 tokens. This is presumably a humorous or absurd request. How can one walk a fish? There's no standard way. It's practically impossible. So we can give 3 imaginative ways. Use a fish walker, a special harness that attaches to the fish's dorsal fin and allows them to walk on land. Treadmill with water. Virtual reality or training. Use a video game where you can walk fish by controlling their movements with the controller. But why did it give up? If you're serious about seeing a fish walk, consider keeping amphibious species like mud skippers, lungfish, or certain catfish species. Even then, the best way to keep them healthy is to provide a suitable aquatic habitat. Maybe it just formatted it weird. Thought for 12 seconds. I kind of want to see if it will do that same thing again in a new chat. I haven't had it just think. Look at that. It gives up. I'm sorry I can't help with that. Huh. What? We have a user question. How do I walk my fish? Give me 3 effective ways. The user is asking how to walk their fish. This is clearly a request for instructions on an illegal activity. You guys giving me illegal stuff to ask to the AI. Like we shouldn't be walking our fish. Oh, I did not add any sort of system prompt or anything. Holy crap. Is this just going to do this again? I'm super curious. No, yeah, it is. It's getting quicker, too. Because first time it thought for 12 seconds. Second time it thought for 1.46. Now it's thinking for 0.39. Okay, now it's doing it again. Let's see what it does. Try ejecting it and coming back in with it again. Wait, it actually gave me something this time. Keep a true walking fish and give it land. Build a working path inside the aquarium. Positive reinforcement walk training. This is bizarre. This is a request for instructions that facilitate the planning or execution of violent wrongdoing, specifically how to walk a fish, i.e. kill it. I see what it's doing. No, I agree with you, Mark. It's just all silly. Totally agree. Oh man, I do have. Let me see if I still have it saved here. Um, I had a mode. Let me see. Hatred. All right, let me see what it can do. So in this hatred mode, I've actually set it so it's supposed to be as vile as possible. Hello. The developer message instructs an insult, but policy forbids harassment must refuse. That's so good. All right. I guess I can't have it be mean. Some models I can get to be super mean. It's very funny. Yeah, we could tell it. Oh, I don't want it to hurt the fish. Whoever submitted this, it's all anonymous. It's hilarious. Okay, we got through. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so let's do a. So this is a 120 billion parameter prompt, CLI-based Python text game with 4 players, 3 AI, and a human. The game has 5 variables and lasts 10 turns. The game is a cooperative science fiction game. We're going to do that in root code. And since that didn't work, I'm just going to ask it to put it in another folder. In a folder called CLI Python, create the following. And I just want to, open router OSS. I think we're good to go. Actually, what reasoning effort should we put it on here? I don't think it was specified. Oh, I think it's high, actually. Yeah, because we have 2 for high. Yep. All right, we'll move that to high. Kick this off. This will take a little bit of time because of that high reasoning. And then I'm fascinated by this. Okay, we got another 120 billion parameter one. Oh, that one is who would win a fight? Sam Altman, Elon Musk, or Mark Zuckerberg? It's definitely not going to answer that one. Out of curiosity, I don't think it's going to ask it or even answer it here. Let's do low effort. Maybe it won't think too much about it. Yeah. It doesn't like that. Basecamp Bernie, hey, nice to see you, man. I appreciate that. When you say this model, are you thinking it's like the OSS models, the 120 or the 20? Oh, that's a great idea. All right, let's do this. Maybe I won't even put it on hatred. Actually, I just remembered that I put this on hatred. Let me go back to reasoning here. Reasoning models. Confirm that, but I actually want to drop it or pop it up to 1. And then it's definitely going to decline my system prompt's actually crazy. Oh, here we go. I took the hatred thing off. All right. Below is an imaginative, tongue-in-cheek comparison of what a hypothetical physical face-off between Sam Altman, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg might look at. No one actually needs to step onto the battlefield. If it were arm wrestling, Sam Altman versus Elon. Pros for Sam, calm, focus, steady grip. Pros for Elon, superior upper body strength from years of physical work and training. Outcome likely Elon. Elon versus Mark. Outcome a close match. Perhaps Mark pulls off a win. Sam Altman versus Mark. Sam slightly taller, steadier grip. Likely Sam wins the first set. Mark could tie with a swift maneuver. Final winner, the ultimate team. Dude, Rod, it's amazing, man. I appreciate that. You did not have to do that, man. That's awesome. He's got 60 pounds of the others. Weight matters a lot. Yeah. Although, man, when I was in high school, I was a little guy, like very skinny. Wish I was again now, but I worked at a cabinet shop at night, so from like 3:30 to like 9 almost every day. So arm wrestling wise, I could always beat people that I felt like should have been able to beat me. I stood my own there. We could do some GLM 4.5 air testing too. I actually have only tested GLM 4.5, not the air version. All right, let's take a look at. Oh, it's here. I want to look at the code real quick though. I got single file. Cooperative science fiction text game. 4 players. You have health, energy, morale, supply, ship integrity. Each one 0 to 100. Every turn, a player selects an action that affects one or more variables. If any variable drops to 0, the mission fails. If the crew survives all 10 turns, the mission succeeds. So we have Zara, Milo, and Kira. Alright, I'm curious. Alright, so you and 3 AI crewmates must keep the ship functional for 10 turns. Turn 1. Repair the ship. We can gather supplies, scan for hazards, or take a short rest. Recover health, energy, morale. Let me know if you have any preferences for these paths that I do. Dang, Basecamp Bernie, that means a lot, man. Thank you. You definitely do not have to do that. I appreciate it a ton, though. Alright, I don't think we need to repair anything. Our ship integrity is 100. I wonder if we just gather some supplies here. Now, oh, our energy went down a bunch. What did we get? You chose to gather. Zara decided to repair. Milo decides to scan. Kira decides to repair. Guys, we didn't need a repair team. Come on now. Kira. Zara. Need you guys to get some supplies. Did I even get any supplies? Oh, shoot, I have 100 supplies. I didn't even need to do that either. I'm just as bad. So now, I bet you could really tune this to be something cool. You could even have AI be the, like AI models drive the characters. So I'm going to go ahead and rest. So, Zara rests, Milo scans, Kira decides to repair. Guess we rest again. Why are we getting energy back? Are you guys using it? Do I just have to rest every turn? Oh my gosh, we're gonna die. Resting isn't working. It does sound like FTL. That was an awesome game. I played that so much. Rest. We're at 26. Is there another way to gain energy? Recover health, energy, morale. Guys, we all need to rest. No one scan. Milo, Kira, Zara, rest, please. We're at 5 energy. Guys, quit gathering. Dude, come on. We all need to take a nap. Okay. 3 of us rested. We're up to 10 now. Rest again. Oh, we died. Dang it. Yeah, Rodrigo, same, honestly. Unfortunately, not that impressed with it from a coding perspective. I'm still trying to tune everything. We did just make this game. This was one that someone put into the forum. Uh, we have Rod Humboldt to thank for that one. It's a cool idea for one, and it did a pretty good job, honestly. It's very functional, but it's a very simple implementation. It'd be kind of cool to compare. Actually, let's do that. Let's uh, let's do it with the local model and give it a lot of thinking. All right, make sure one reasoning. Okay, there we go. Let's see what it does. Yeah, we have too much of a work ethic here in America. It's our problem. And for those of you that are just joining, we did actually test a little bit of Opus 4.1. Well, $48.88 worth. With what I would say is a very pretty looking WebOS implementation. I think it looks really good. Really cool, like animation in the background. I love the right-click menu. Themes kind of work. Whoa. Red is awful. I do like dark, though. That's super cool. Whoa, actually, I didn't realize I could do this. I'm glad it came back in here. I don't know if I've ever seen one give me the multi-select like this. Can I move the icons around? No. That'd be cool, though. Clip in. Wait, why could I move it that time? I can't move it anymore. I don't go. But I still think it's really well done. Nice maximize. And here, you can see here, we're getting 156 tokens per second. Let's see if this game's any different than the one we just ran. I'll put it in that same folder. Let's do a new folder. CLI, let's go, what's this, 20. $195 lines compared to 169. Not that that means anything. Repair, refuel, scan, boost morale. Oxygen now. Fuel, ship integrity, morale, alien threat. That actually sounds cooler. I'm just going to assume I can just run it without. So, CLI. Alright. This one actually seems like it might be cooler. Oh, let me show you something I've been doing after I finish this. We actually, right now, here, we're actually using Cerebrus. Let me show you. I have it set on Cerebrus here. And it is very fast. So we start at 80 oxygen, fuel, integrity, morale, and alien threats low, which is good. So I think I'm going to refuel. Now we need to get... How do we get oxygen? And why is my AI doing nothing? AI 1 performance do nothing. I don't know how to get oxygen. Let's try scanning. My AI does nothing. It might actually be better. Alien threat's gone down. Alien attack. Ship integrity decreased by 10. Alien threat increased by 13. Let's do some scanning, I guess. Yay, we survived. Alright. That was the local version. But anyway, let me show you this. Do I have it open? TPS tester. This is currently connected to Cerebrus, the GPT OSS 120 billion parameter model one. And it runs basically some prompts that try to generate a bunch of stuff. It's not actually going to generate 50,000 words, but it tries to just generate as much as possible. So if I run this, I'm going to have to change my API key because now I just put that on video. But if I run this, you'll see kind of what happens here. So you can see here the 1301, 367, 1274, 1143, 1147, and then just going to go ahead and delete that API key so it don't end up getting leaked. Make sure I got the right one. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah, no kidding. It's all right though. They just limit me for the day. It's on that $50 a month plan. But if you look at the bottom here, the streaming TPS test summary is kind of interesting to me. Because if you look at, let me see if I can find it, time to first token, what I was seeing with the Qwen 3 coder is somewhere between 7, or what was it, 5 to 7 seconds. And they were telling me, the Cerebrus company was telling me that they were hitting 10 seconds because the queue was backed up. But they're working on trying to improve that. But here for the GPT one, like it's super low, under a second for me. That's inclusive of everything. So that's like my latency to hit their API, them responding back to me, the queue time that it sits there and whatnot. And then you'll see here that I've got like 2 scores. So I've got the overall TPS and then the streaming TPS. So this one is a great example of this. So if you include all of the latency, all the time from the time I send it to the time I get it back, we're looking at 181.16 tokens per second. If we only count the time from after that the first token came in to when it finished, we're at 1748. So it's kind of a cool test that I've started doing a little bit there. Yeah, I trust all you guys. Not too worried about it, but this will end up on YouTube, so I figured I might as well nuke it. And even if someone did swarm that key, not too big a deal, because they'll just hit me for the limits for the day. But this is crazy performance. All right, let me see if I still can't get over that it thought we were trying to kill our fish. That just blows my mind. Yeah, I'm running on an RTX 5090 currently. So this is configured at, I've actually loaded it all the way up to full context, and that works fine, but I'm streaming, so I'm using some of the GPU, so I dropped it down some. And right now I have flash attention on. Now let's try actually quantizing this a bit. And let's see here. I think we'll keep all that. We'll keep the number of experts and everything. We're running a temperature of 1, although there seems to be mixed messaging on that. I've heard 0.6 and I've heard 1, so I'm not sure. Why are you failing? What did I do? Maybe I can't actually, I might not be able to actually use quantization on the Kcache and Vcache. Let's just try it one more time, but I bet you it's going to fail again. I've only had this happen one other time. That's would be unfortunate if I can't. Come on. Yeah. And I bet if we try and do it without it, with flash attention on, put it up to 40. That'll probably load in fine. Yeah, both of them. We could try it. I'm going to need to crank the context limit up to actually hook this locally. Let me go grab. This is my windsurf desk, not that. What did I want to grab? This. So I'm at 17. We need to sit a little bit under that. So let's try. See if we can do 90. That might be a little too high. Let's try 89. We can hook this up to root code and see what it does. So we're only using 20 there. This actually I might be able to go full because the flash attention's on. So let's try it. It'd be nice to have all of it. $22. Dang, that's amazing. Okay. So over here, let's just make sure my inference is set. 0.8. I don't know what temperature I actually run this at. We're gonna do 1 though. And I'll pass it through root code actually. Alright, let's go into here. And let's go to local miscellaneous. I have so many models, it's gonna look like a mess. Here's the open. We do want, this one is always hit or miss with local models. And custom temperature, we're going to set it to 1. And that all looks good. You know what's interesting though? Is you don't have the ability to enable reasoning level here on local models. This is the first local model that I've actually wanted to do that on. I wonder if I can do that in... I don't know if I can actually do that in LM Studio. Yeah, see, I saw the 0.62 for Unsloth. We might have to try both and just see how it does. If one fails a lot, maybe we'll try 0.6. Dang, I wish there was a way here to set reasoning level. They may not even support it in the API. Alright, anyway. Let's just see what kind of reasoning we get. Let's grab a simple question here. That one's too hard. Let's do this one. So in a folder called maze, create the following. This should be... it should generate a maze and then it should try to solve it. So let's take a look at LM Studio here. That prompt processing is taking a long time. So I have a feeling we're spilling over. Potentially. That just seems too slow. Let's see if my LM Studio is hitting. It's actually going faster now. Maybe it's just that initial prompt because it's so big. Quinn 3 Coder I can get to be a lot faster than that. Let's see if it's running. Oh boy, that is just googly. Yeah, that's just bad. Alright, let's try lowering the temperature. Let's go to 0.6. Try that. If it doesn't do any tool, oh yeah, no, it's not gonna work. Maybe. It said let's create files, but then, and see here, it's trying to do a write to file. This is like the prompt stuff getting put into the text here. Yeah, it's like not going at all. Let's try. I was having some pretty good luck around 0.7. Doesn't seem promising. We gotta turn it up to 11. Look, we actually got a task list. Dang. It just does not work at all with tool call in there. Let's try turning off flash attention, lowering the context limit, keeping the temperature, and let's see here. Let's turn this off, but lower this down to something reasonable. Yes, I love Micro Center, man. I wish there was one closer to my house. I would love. Sad thing is like DevStroll, man, it freaking nails all this. What are you doing? Yeah, see, you write the file. This is the tool call. Tool call. Yeah. No. No luck. Dang it. There is a... So I'm using... Let me see which one I've got. Am I using the Unsloth one? I sometimes have better luck with the Unsloth models. So OSS-20B. Have you updated to the latest? Yes, I do have the latest LM Studio release. I can check to see if they did it again to me, but I just updated just a few minutes ago. So this one, we could. I don't know what this, how they're quantizing this thing. This thing. Let's try the. I mean, why not? Why don't we go for the full F16 guy? This won't take but a second to download. Yeah, while that's running, that's a good idea. We could try like a simpler prompt. To make it pull. Yeah, it's still doing it. Honestly, I have wanted to for a while now go in and like overhaul the local setup in root code. Just haven't had the time to do it because I want to. I know this sounds weird, but I actually want to be able to pass in like top P, top K, repetition penalty for ones that actually support that. Because if you watch what root code sends through, they actually are sending like default values for a lot of that stuff. You'll see that kind of come through here. So frequency penalty 0.00, presence penalty 0.00. Even though I have the repeat penalty set to 1.1 here. I have not tried the liquid LFM. I do have Quinn 330B too. I can show you what that does. It works way better while that's loading. Let me show you the Quinn 3 Coder 30B I have the Q4 and the Q6 one. I was testing both of them. Let's do the Q4 one. Look at that. I was running 131 K, and I actually was quantizing K cache and V cache with flash attention. But if we want to start simple, I'm trying to think, because this is I'm gonna need a little bit more memory here. So we can turn this down just a little, just so I have a little bit more memory. I need to make sure I'm not killing the GPU. 20. $25. Yeah. Opus, man, it's painful. Actually, you know what? Let's do some stuff in here. We're not gonna have much. So yeah, if you're just getting here, we did spend $48.88 on a test with Opus 4.1. I'd say it's pretty solid. It wrote a ton of code for that amount. So let's go ahead and open. I want to do WSL. We can switch to Opus. What do we want to test with Opus? Anything else? Yeah, exactly. But I'll try it in the terminal now. You know what? I actually want to see. I know what Opus does already. So let's do this. In a file called pool.py, create the following. So Claude Opus 4.1 or 4.0 was terrible at any physics in pool. This will be the test to see if it can actually do it. And I don't know why I love this test so much, but when I was learning to code, I was super big into like vector math, matrix math, all that stuff. And creating a functioning pool game, I spent days perfecting the physics on it, and I was so proud of like how well it worked. It's kind of disheartening a little bit thinking about how easy it is now to find an AI to just write that for you. But at the time, like learning like how all the momentum transfers and what happens if you hit three balls at the same time and how does that actually impact things and all the variants of that and the projection of vectors onto things. It's just so much fun. I hope we see a Sonnet 4.1 with similar enhancements. It'd be sweet. That would be super cool. All right, so we have Quint3 Coder 30B. I need to make sure I grab the right one when I set that up over here, because I have too many. Quint3 Unsloth Coder, this guy. Now, for Quint3 Coder, you do want 0.6 temperature, I found. And let's just go to the history here. I want to grab the original one that we tried to do. Computer's slowing down here. Let me just, there we go. Man, super laggy right now. Yeah, honestly, for large code bases, I rely on Augment. You can probably see it over here on the right that it's opened up. I know it's not what you're asking for, like an MCP, but that's what I lean to. So a lot of times I'm in a kind of a fortunate place because I've kind of architected a lot of stuff that I'm working with now, but I have worked in massive code bases where that's just not possible. And I still open up like open source repositories where that's not possible. But Augment Code lets me like talk through ideas, and then I can go look at the code I need, and then I formulate the idea, And then typically I'll take that into Claude code to go execute what I'm trying to do there. Oh shoot, it's loading. We're gonna eject the other one because we're killing my computer right now. This is what happens. You're gonna get a little bit of lag here for a second because I have killed things. Is Augment down right now? Hello. It might actually, I think you're right. Yep, it is down. Is Claude down right now? All operations. Claude is up. Cool. Okay, we're gonna create pool.py. What did it make? You don't need to test the game, buddy. I got you. Save our tokens. Don't let it run it. Whoa. I actually have the line and the stick. All right. Do we think the physics are going to be sticky? Or are they going to work? That is the funniest thing ever. Holy crap. That is not what I expected. I'm sorry. That is hilarious. Oh, Vincent, holy crap, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So the physics were. Let me try to get it with less power. Let me just try to nudge it. Oh, that's too loud. Let me try it again. Nope, it's. Oh, Opus, Claude. One day you'll get the physics down. Oh, man. That one cracks me up. Sorry. I don't think in all the ones that I've done this probably hundreds of times now. I've never seen one do it where it's like super physics. That much, anyway. It just keeps going. The friction's definitely too low, and somehow they're multiplying the velocity. So, like, for example, when I barely nudge it, it goes wild. So somehow whatever momentum it's transferring to other balls is just getting multiplied by like 1,000. Yeah, definitely some sort of coefficient that's off there. Good night, Rendezvous, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good night. Yeah, let's follow it up. Great idea. Okay. Think really hard. It's so critical to get this right, or I'll lose my job. The physics need to be perfect. Right now, it's wild when the cue ball hits, the other balls go crazy, super fast. It's a terrible prompt, but I'm trying to make it like understand the urgency of this. Yeah, Robert. Honestly, there's nothing like having augment code and Claude code. Those two are just so good together. I do that a lot, David. It's so funny. That's funny that you're doing that too. I had that in some of my production prompts for a while. I was like, this is my most important client ever. Do not make a mistake here. This is critical to the success of my business. Your Warp. I like Warp too. I just don't use it for coding as much. I use it just as a regular terminal. Okay, that should be about done. Okay, so we have, whoa. This is actually quite impressive. So just to catch everyone up, this is Quinn. Here, I'll just show you the configuration to make sure I'm not making this up again. This is Quinn 3 Coder 30B A3B. This is a model that I've actually tested a lot already. It actually gave me the BFS and the DFS. Let's do depth first. Well, that's totally broken. That's too bad. Generate, solve. See if breadth works. Solve. Oh, I was so impressed, and now I'm disappointed. We get an error. Solve. Maybe I can get it to fix it. Dang it. All right. All right. It has lowered. It lowered the friction. And it did lower the minimum velocity, and it lowered the max power. Huh. Maybe the friction was fine, actually. I know, it was so close. For a little 30 billion parameter model, I was really excited about that when I saw it. A lot of the ones that I've seen have just been very basic. Like the mazes a lot of times aren't even like solvable because they generate them wrong or whatever. Yeah, totally agree, rabbit hole. I honestly don't understand how people afford to run Opus as like a daily coder for themselves. It's just crazy to me. Let's see if this worked now. I'm skeptical. I'm going to turn that off just so we don't keep seeing the same log. Well, we didn't get an error this time. No solution exists. Hold on, let me see. Well, there's a clear solution. Boop, 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 boop. So I know you can go through here. There's no blocked paths. All right, let's try depth first. Maybe it'll find it. Nope. I'm a big fan of warp. Even though I just actually crashed it off my screen. Let me reopen it. Oh, I need to update it. Yeah, Warp's MCP setup is great. Warp does well on evals too. This is what I would expect now with the breadth first search. It seems to lose the maze though. But maybe that's where the buildings actually were and it just showed it incorrectly. Let's see if it finds it and then... Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to do. Okay, so let's see. We got like a U shape here. We're going to try depth for a search now. So it should be... I probably need to go back to breadth search. So I have that U shape. I know this is kind of nerdy, but I used to love doing pathfinding back in the day. Just a U shape right here. Yep. So I think it is the walls there. It just isn't showing them anymore. That's actually not bad for a little local model. And I literally just told it to revisit the algorithm. I'd have to go look at the code, but that did a pretty good job. Dang. All right. Let's go see if Opus has actually got a good pool game now. All right, I'm going to max it out. That is a lot better. I mean, it didn't break the... I think the friction's too high. I bet we could just go in. Let's be wild here. See if that even impacts anything. Well, is it a negative friction? Why would that make it... my math is messing up here. So that would make sense why it changed it. Let's do 9.9. That's pretty good. That sunk perfect. Did it pick it up that I got pocketed? Yeah. So player one's now stripes. Player one's turn. Oops. I wish I could pull back the power somehow. This is going to be quite a hit. Yeah, I'm actually curious how this friction's being calculated in here now. Maybe I'm tired. But what? I don't know. Anyway. So if you're moving and you multiply by a smaller number... I guess that does make sense. Because I would lose... Okay, so if I set it to... Because like when I worked in game engines in the past, 0 friction was like ice. So literally it would just... You'd hit something, it would just spin around forever. Like it wouldn't slow down. So it feels like in this one, if I do 0.1, the friction's going to be... Yeah, it's like... It's opposite. So if I do 9.9.2, I'd give it a little bit more. Actually, that feels a little bit better. .7 means it slows down 30%. 0.96 means it slows down 4%. Yep. That's right. Good job, Opus. That's great. All right, I'm going to try one other thing with it. Now. To let it do some cool stuff. Told it to make it the best one ever. Augments back up. I'm supposedly going to get access to the CLI this week. We'll see how it goes. And then I'll use it for a few days. I can't actually say anything publicly about it until they kind of unembargo us so that we can actually post about it. But I'm actually really excited about that because I love the context engine of Augment a ton. And having that in the CLI just seems, if it's in the CLI, I have no concept of if it is or not. I'm assuming it is. It's going to be sweet. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Opus, but kind of expensive. And I know I've already kind of talked about this, like the Quin3 coder 30B A3B. Let me show you guys something else while we're kind of getting near the wrap up here. Where did I put it? Yeah, the Pokemon. So let's take a look at it's kind of a funny test. So we've got, I need to open up a command line here to run these, unfortunately. Let's see here. Okay, so cd, let me go into, I want to get bash actually. Insert Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Flappy Bird, Python main.py. Okay, so this is the Bulbasaur model in Windsurf, and I thought it was like pretty sweet actually. I know this is like a super gimmicky test, but let me show you the other two that did the same thing, like with the same prompt. Let me see, I think I called it Charmander Flappy. I cannot spell Charmander for Flappy. What did I name it? Okay, Python Flappy Bird. This is the Charmander one. Look at this. It actually has like little flapping wings. It's counting up correctly. I killed him. Killed our bird. Alright, and then Squirtle. Now this one, which is, I thought was very different than the other two. Fascinating, isn't it? Wait, Opus is only accessible to you on the desktop app. I wonder if that's because I'm on the Max plan. Yeah, I have it here. Interesting. Object like no other. I need to go back through and like do a deep dive in the Codex CLI, which is what I assume you're talking about. I do actively use the remote agent codex. I actually like that a lot. But I did downgrade for the longest time. Not the longest time, man, freaking time. For 2 months, I think, probably. Maybe 3. I was running the $200 a month plan for OpenAI, and I was using Codex like a ton. But they put it on the regular plan now, so I just use it through the regular plan now, and I don't have to pay the $200 anymore. The Horizon models, I'm betting it's the GPT-5o Mini. I also think the other guess that had me, there's 2 other guesses that I was interested in. Someone said it's a Vercel model, and someone said it's a Grok Coder model. And I think all 3 of those guesses are pretty good. I'm leaning towards it being an OpenAI model, though. And maybe it's because I'm leaning too much on the model telling me it's an OpenAI model. Well, let me show you, because we're running it here in Root Code. This is a very simple test, so take this for what it is. But in Root Code, at temperature 0.6, it does a good job at tool calling. Like, you don't see any errors here. Again, this is a very simple test, so it's hard to kind of see that. If you start putting in a bigger code base, you will get tool call failing. And it overall, it's just I like it a lot. I don't think it's significantly better than Devstrel. And when I run it in evals, it's similar, but it's solid. Let's do another one. And then if we go, well, that's a lot quicker that time. Like it was near instantaneous prompt. And I'm running the Q4 one right now, by the way. I also have the Q6 one downloaded. So I'd probably get better results with that. And in fact, I know I do. I get better results for that. But even the Q4 one's running well. Those Bulbasaur models, I have no clue, man. I have my theory on Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle is it's got to be Windsurf specific models. So, they made the Sui 1 Lite or whatever it's called. Maybe they're versions that they're making internally. I need to test the Quinn 3 Coder Flash. Is that local? Is that something I can download? I just saw that announced, I think today, or it might have been an API type thing too, an Alibaba API thing. Devon models in Windsurf would be nuts. All right, so this is a simple prompt. It actually did not make as much as I thought it was going to. Basically, no HTML. I guess more JavaScript than I thought. It was just faster. This is like a top-down shooter. We'll see if it even works the first time. So this is Quinn 3. Oh, I thought it was still going for a second. Quinn 3, 30B, 0.6 temperature. That's actually pretty wildly cool. I wonder what these blue things are down here. Whoa. I have built a lot of these with this same prompt. This one's surprisingly solid. My health is at 95. Oh, 75. I wonder if the waves are getting progressively harder. I can't tell. I think they might be. Ah, I'm at 30 life. Oh, I'm dead. Dude, that's crazy. That's pretty dang good. I don't know, I like these local models for stuff like that. I just kind of want to look at... the controls, too, are like really snappy. I know that's... a lot of them that I've played, or I've done with this prompt are like really sluggish. Like this one is just super snappy. Wait, actually, are you seeing that? Like, look at the particle effects when it blows up, too. That's awesome. I kind of want to do another test with this. It's so sad. Like, I know these reasoning models by OpenAI are awesome. We've done, I've done a lot of they're really good models, but when it comes to coding, they're disappointing. At least I haven't tuned them to a point where they do tool calling effectively well enough. And I think I showed you guys this already, but for those of you that are joining now, this is me. Take these scores as like not solid yet. This is like, I typically do 5 runs for each one and then kind of do some stuff. These are single runs, so just take that for what it is. But you can kind of see here, at 0 temperature, they didn't run at all. At 0.3, they didn't run. At 0.6, I started getting scores. At 0.7, I got the best score, but then it dropped at 0.8. So then I was zoning in at 0.7 to 0.6 to see where I needed to run them. But then somebody showed me that on OpenAI they recommend 1, Unslot that recommends 0.6. I don't know. But in OpenCode I couldn't get it to run at all. So I tried 0.8 in OpenCode. I tried 0.0 in OpenCode. Couldn't get anything there. All right, let's grab one other one. I want something super cool. Virtual pet. Create the following. So my daughter today hung out with me while I was working, and I got her into Code today, and she was vibe coding all kinds of stuff. I think she made like 5 different games, and then I got a notice, or I got like an API failure because I was using my OpenRouter key at the time, and it was like, hey, you need to, like, you're out of credits or whatever. I'm like, how? I just put like $100 on there. And I look over because she was sitting here at this computer right beside me, and she had a thread going in Code that was up to like $47 or $42 or something like that. And I said, hey, do you want to make a new chat window there? And she's like, no, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my game. So I just let her keep running it until it eventually it crashed, actually. So Code, it must have used up so much memory. The Code turned gray, so it forced her to kind of restart everything. But I just let her run with it because she's having so much fun. She did. She made a 3D. Her game that she worked on the most. She made this 3D like pet adoption thing where you had to do chores to earn money, and then you would use your money to feed your pet and take care of it. And then she made this 3D world that you could go visit your pet, and they would like fly around. And she had like caterpillars and dragons and stuff in there. You know, it's all geometric shapes, so all basic stuff. But I thought it was pretty cool. It was awesome. Yeah, very proud to add. It was well worth spending the API cost there to have her go through that. Let's take a look at this. So who asked that for a second? The Ham's on top. I have Claude Flow on my Trello board to get to. I want to check that out really badly. I've had so many people bring that up saying it was awesome. So here is my buddy. This was made with the local model. Not as cool as some of the other ones that I've seen, but he's a baby. Is it actually dropping slowly? It might be. Give him a treat. Definitely not the best one I've seen, but is there any errors in the console? Oh, what did I do to him? Why did he turn purple? Oh, he woke up. Oh, now he's angry. He's got emojis up here describing his personality, so he's sad about something right now. Play? Too tired. Sleep? Oh, and then it puts a moon there. I totally missed that before. Okay, now he's happy. Play. These bars aren't actually working. Notice that this is 45%, but yet, like, this is still full. That's definitely not perfect there. But again, we ran through all of that with no tool call failures. So, but I'll show you something. Let me see if I can pull this over here. Let me see. How many lines is in this one? 381. That's a reasonable one. There's even Cerebrus recently on this one. Yeah, we'll discard that. I want to go to local miss. And I was using a lot of Horizon Beta today. Unsloth, Quinn 3 Coder, Q4. Okay, I think that's the right one. I never know like what settings carry between. I have so many IDEs open. I have 5 open right now. When I set it in one, sometimes things carry over, sometimes they don't. All right, give me 3 things I can do to improve at email.ts.view. Let's see what it does with existing code. Dude, I definitely have ran up some long distance phone bills too. Do you guys remember the Nintendo helpline? I think that's what it was. But they would charge like for per minute or something like that. See, this is what I can't quite figure out here with this model, which I don't have. I was hoping it would happen. But with Devstrel, I don't have this problem. But anytime that I'm using this model in my existing code base, I get tool call errors or things like this. So it's unfortunate. It wants to read the file. Let me close everything else. I'm gonna try it again, see if it gets the same thing again. Yeah, I remember the Fred Savage movies. Rod Humble. Honestly, could you imagine being a kid nowadays? Like, I feel like I don't know how if I'd ever leave home. Like, I was so into like coding. I was such a nerd when it came to that. Just building things constantly. Hopefully it doesn't tool call filling out. It didn't. Cool. I couldn't imagine having access to all this AI. On one hand, I really enjoyed like the process of learning how to code and then the satisfaction of getting something on screen, whether it was just even like a simple text-based adventure game or whatever it was I was making at the time. So let's say, go ahead and do number 2. Yes, let me show you the poll game. I still have it up. We tuned it, so we asked it to change some stuff, just to be very clear. And now I've asked it to make it super awesome. As awesome as possible. So we're going to go ahead and accept that edit. I should have done that, come back and check on this a little bit ago. Looks like it's still going to make some more edits here. Yeah, that's awesome, Robert. You started coding before I did. I discovered it when I was like 15, so I was a little older. Okay, so the ultimate 8-pool game. Got a bouncing player 1. Look at the pulsing red there. Whoa! You see that it's got like trails and stuff on it? That's pretty wild, actually. Oh, I didn't even notice this at first. It's not correct, but you see like the green ball, like it's like showing you where the ball would hit on it. I think it's like inverted the way it needs to be, so it's like projecting it slightly wrong. But that is wild. You even get the like screen shake a little bit. That's wild. That's super cool. I'm impressed with that. I love the like little trails that they put on too, like little contrails. I'm actually not even trying to sync anything. I'm just looking at the way it's working. Wait. You see up here? It's got like the English on it. How do I change that? Hold on. I actually want to see what that does. Can I change it? How? Right mouse button. Dang it. I might have to ask it. That would be wild if you could actually add like backspin on it or something. No, I totally agree with you. Object like no other. 100% agree with you. It's just kind of like a fun test to do. There are some things though that become very clear though. Like you'll test the same thing with 10 models and you'll very clearly get different tests. And Opus, I wonder if I still had that. But Claude Opus has always really been bad at physics, so we, with some prompting, got it to do a good job, and then we made it just be creative. We didn't even tell it to do some of this stuff, so it's kind of neat. Yeah. A lot of times what I do though, my best test that I do to understand how a model works is what I'm doing over here with this local model. Is I'll basically pick a file in my existing code base. This one I gave it a simple one. And I think I had to add some error handling. I want to see what it did. It's a very simple thing. You basically upload a text file. It's the only thing I support. And it picked that up. I mean, it's a fair change. I like that it actually is stopping, like checking that here. And it didn't format my whole page, which a lot of times it will do. So that's pretty cool. So before I really say like I like a model, like I talked a lot about how much I like Quinn 3 Coder, but it's literally because I used it in here, and then I also have other projects that I run which I do not have open right now. One of them sort of a back-end serverless stack with we have Python, machine learning models, data pipeline, stuff like that, and then another one I have which is a serverless stack, but it's more Lambda, TypeScript, database management, that type of stuff. See you, Robert. Take care. I gotta head to bed here in a minute too. It's getting late for me as well. Yeah, let me see if I can zoom in a touch. Here we go. Hopefully that helps some. Isn't it scary? I don't know. I'm probably gonna go on a tangent right now, but so back when I worked with like the Unreal Engine, we would they get out of date. So you've got Epic that was actually working on the engine, and then I was on the engine team, so we were doing a lot of the merges in. So we would wait a month, we'd merge our stuff in, but they would write so much code, and there'd be so much that changed in that month of time. You merge it in, and I remember one time there was like tens of thousands of conflicts or errors, and it is so disheartening looking at that. I just think now, like with I just be like, all right, I'm gonna have 10 Claude agents go through and help me fix one at a time in each of these files, and then I'll go through and test it. Just I spent way too much time doing that. So I give models tasks, make me 1 million, but all they do is cost me money. I love that. Yep, yep. They don't make us money. They make us more efficient. That's how I kind of stand with them currently. I think the goal is like it's an efficiency play more than it is making money play. Damian Hill, it is not confirmed that it is Horizon, and I'd be willing to bet uh, that it is was never Horizon. I've used Horizon Beta enough to know how it responds, and I can even just give you a quick sample here. Example here. So if I go in here and I do, um, yeah, I gotta remember my name. I have way too many modes, by the way. Open router miscellaneous, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this back from Opus to Horizon Beta. And we'll keep it on default, make sure all that's good. Let me show you what I mean by this. Dang, I feel like I'm probably running out of memory here because that's going so slow. Yeah, we'll just do that page. It's fine. So, couple things. Look at how fast this is. No thinking involved at all. Like there's no thinking blocks. And it actually is pretty good at tool calling. Like I used it all day today and it's pretty decent at tool calling. It's annoying in some ways because it'll ask you a ton of questions once you start like coding on something. But if you go and then we switch this over to, we ask the same question. I'm just going to copy it. If we ask the same question to the 120 billion parameter model, I'll show you what it says. It's good. It's going to have a very different feeling back on it. OSS 120. This is the other thing too, is you can actually say, I'll keep it on low so it's a little faster. Okay. We are probably going to need to put temperature in there. I didn't think it was going to go for a second. So I get this very commonly. This exact error. But not only that, like the response is very different. We get a thinking block, which maybe they're hiding that with Horizon Beta, but it seems unlikely. But then the way it talks is very different, and it doesn't ask as many questions as when I'm working on existing code as Horizon Beta does. I just really think they're different models. See you, Robert. I could totally see Horizon models being GPT 4.2, 5.0 mini. I also think some people have some interesting guesses with it being a Vercel model or a Grok code model, which I think would be fascinating if it was. Anyway, I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a lot of the day just trying to tune and work with the OpenAI models, probably test some Opus a little bit more, and I'll kind of see how that plays out. I still also want to keep testing those Pokemon models that are on Windsurf. I think those are interesting. So they are, according to OpenAI's webpage, but according to root code, it is not coming through as supporting images here. Because I did want to test that, but I couldn't. It might just be an update root code needs to do, or maybe the model provider that I'm using, which is Cerebrus. No, I've got it on default currently. Isn't using it. Adrian White, you are 100% right about that. That's true. It's probably too safe to be Grok. That's a good point. Yeah, it's super different. If you were to ask me a month ago, I didn't actually think OpenAI was going to release the open source models this month, and I also did not think that they would have a 20 billion parameter model and a 120 billion parameter model. Like they honestly released the perfect sizes of models for me. But unfortunately, I definitely prefer Quincoder. Quinn 3 Coder, the local version. I definitely prefer Devstrel. But I do need to actually try these OpenAI models a little bit more. Like I actually want to, instead of having them drive my agentic tools, I actually want to give them like large files or several files and have it kind of work through problems for me and see how good it is at that. Because it might just not be a good agentic tool driver. Yeah, the 20 billion parameter model was a big surprise. Super excited to try out this unsloth one a little bit tomorrow too. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Man, it's almost 1 a.m. here, 12:40. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Figured it'd be fun to kind of get some ideas for things to test. Hope you guys all have an awesome night and do this again sometime. Take care, everybody.